So I just got back from seeing Wonder Woman, and these days, before going to see any movie, I don't watch any of the trailers or any of the reviews, so I can just go in with a completely blank slate and just enjoy the movie fully. But now that I've seen the movie and I've gotten back home, I started looking through other websites and on YouTube to see what other people thought about the movie, and I'm quite surprised, to be honest. It's getting quite a lot of amazing reviews, like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So I was thinking, like, am I the only one who thought it was an enjoyable movie? I kind of definitely above average, but it's not like that amazing. It's one of those movies where there's some really great parts and there's some really cheesy, corny parts, which kind of averages each other out and kind of ending up to be kind of an enjoyable but above average movie. I would say the overall quality of the movie is similar to Captain America Part 1, and actually not just the overall quality, but also the movie itself is very similar, to be honest. I would say this movie is kind of like Captain America with much better action scenes and more of it. But in terms of pacing and editing and the character development and the other stuff, apart from the action stuff, Captain America probably did it a bit better, But overall, though, it's very similar in terms of mood and tone. I mean, they're both kind of in World War. Obviously, this one is in World War One, but Captain America is in World War Two. But the look of it, when they have like the squad, some of the old pictures, it looks exactly the same, and even down to the specific story and plot points. I mean, obviously, this is spoilers, but the mentor who created Captain America, he got shot and killed. The lady warrior, Robin Wright's character, I think, who kind of basically created Wonder Woman because she trained her from birth, since she was very young, kind of gets shot and killed as well. And also the first part of the movie is kind of nice and bright. In Captain America, they're focused back in his life at his hometown. It's kind of in America, nice and bright. In Wonder Woman as well, when she's at the beginning of the movie, she's in her kind of home world, and it's all nice and bright, and it's always sunny with sunshine. And then towards the middle till the end of the movie, it's like all dark, gritty, kind of war torn. Everything is dark and depressed. So in those terms, it's very similar. And even the ending, I was like, wow, this is exactly the same. In Captain America Part 1, he obviously is slightly different, but he sacrifices himself to crash the plane full of bombs into the Arctic Ocean. So that's why he got frozen and got awoken kind of like 60 years or something later. In this one, it's exactly the same. The main character, the guy, leading man, basically had to sacrifice himself, flying a plane full of bombs up into the sky and blow himself up. But the similarities between these two films is not really bothering me, to be honest. What's dragging the film down for me is these ultra cheesy, corny moments that gets put into the movie. And when these moments happen, you just can't help but just cringe automatically. You're like, oh my god, who wrote these lines, or who came up with these plot points or these shots? And the bad thing is, these bad moments or these cheesy moments are put right next to like the great moments, almost from shot to shot. For example, you'll be having these great action sequence and looking like a really like badass warrior, and then for the next scene, you suddenly have a shot where she's like in a shampoo commercial or something with perfect makeup and hair blowing in the wind, and she would say some corny line like, "I believe in love." I'm like, what the fuck? And not only once, she used these lines about "I believe in love" at least, I think, twice or at least three times. And throughout the whole movie, she's like flying through buildings, getting shot at, getting explosion right next to her, like, flung through a building. And every single time her face is absolutely flawless, like perfect with makeup, not a single hair out of place. And I'm like, really? I mean, not even a speck of dust on her face. I'm like, at least you could just like put a bit of mud or a bit of dust on it to make it look like she's been through some battles, I mean, they could have handled her like they did with Robin Wright's character, her mentor. I mean, when you look at her, you're like, wow, yeah, she's definitely, been through some battle. You believe that she's like a real, badass warrior. But obviously, you didn't have to go that far with the scar and everything for Wonder Woman. But at least, some part you can have like a bit of like concrete dust on her hair after she just went through the building, or maybe just a slight, a small cut on her face maybe, which would heal later anyway. That would kind of sell the action scene a bit more. And here's another part where this film is similar to Captain America in that, I mean, let's be honest, guys. Captain America running through the battlefield of World War II in his ridiculous uniform. I mean, he does look a bit out of place. And it's similar here. Wonder Woman running through the battlefield with her shiny armor on. It looks quite, quite funny. It's just a bit weird, to be honest. But and also even the color scheme is the same. The red and the blue. So I'm not. It's like, wow, I mean, what are the chances of that? The exact same film with the exact same plot point, with the exact same mood and tone, and lots of shields as well. Lots of shield action in this. I would say there are more shields in this than there are actually the sword play of Wonder Woman. She uses her shield way more and it's much more prominent. So I'm like, they just look at Captain America and thought, oh, we'll just copy that maybe. Which brings me to the love interest, which again is very similar between this and Captain America in that they both have their like first love in the past era, which in future movies they kind of look back on fondly about to remind them of their lost love, and even have like a little war picture to remind themselves of their past love. In Captain America case, he had like a picture of Agent Carter, black and white picture, and in Wonder Woman again exactly the same. But to be honest, I preferred how they handled it in Captain America. I like it where they didn't actually get together. I mean, I like it how they build a chemistry where throughout the movie they started to like each other more and more and more and more, and by the end that okay, they're falling for each other. And if circumstances have been different, if Captain America had come back from the mission, he would probably ask her out and they will maybe get married in the future. But who knows? We'll never know. At most, maybe have a kiss right at the end when they finally like, okay, yeah, I like you and you like me too, and then part ways forever. Which in this movie I thought the chemistry was kind of a bit rushed, to be honest. I mean, Chris Pine and Wonder Woman only had maybe like 3 main interactions together. Like the first one is when she rescued him from the ocean, obviously, where I mean she didn't speak to him that much, and we had like a comedy bit in when he was taking a bath inside the cave. And then the next moment of them like kind of flirting together is on the boat. So that's 2 short moments. And then the moment after that is the battle, and then straight after that they kind of fall in love, and they already went had a little dance, and they just went straight up to the room and then made love, which I thought it was kind of rushed and a bit kind of cheapens the relationship a bit. I would have much preferred if they had like continued to have little moments, maybe have a dance moment and then another little moment after that, and then finally at the end, right at the end, before he kind of fly off to sacrifice himself, maybe before leaving he would just hand her the watch and maybe just have one kiss, and that's it. It's like, if only we had more time, I would have asked you out, and who knows, maybe we'll have a relationship and find out what married life feel like. I thought if they're taking it like that direction, it would have been like much more impactful. It's like, if only they had a bit more time. But in this version, they already had, did everything in 3 scenes, made love, and they've already done that. So that's no more kind of, well, I mean, it's done and dusted basically. And not just the main love interest, but also the side characters. I felt that in Captain America they handled it better in that the Wonder Woman movie kind of did in the whole cliche thing where it's like, oh, assemble the team, guy number 1 very good at shooting rifle, guy number 2 very good acting, speaking many languages, and each person of the team have like this stereotypical look and kind of unique skill to them, whereas it's kind of a bit cliche. But in Captain America they just had like, okay, the love interest, Tommy Lee Jones, who is always a great person on screen, and also his friend Bucky Barnes, which they utilize well in the later films. Whereas in Captain Woman, in Wonder Woman, I'm sure none of the characters in these teams, I mean, they're basically throwaway characters. You're never going to see them again, right? So I thought they could have just handled it better. They didn't need to do the whole cliche, each member has a special skill, assemble the team type kind of thing. They could just been a few of Chris Pine's friend coming along to help on the mission, and that would be it. But that's the thing though, I never expected this movie, as well as Captain America, to be, well, part 1, to be any kind of that satisfying, because it's an origin story basically. I mean, with these type of movie, you have spent so much time setting up kind of the how these heroes were created. In Captain America, you have to show him in his early life and how, start training, get the serum, get his power, and that already takes up like half the movie at least. I mean, Wonder Woman is the same. You have to show the birth story, the whole since she was young and then growing up, training, and then realizing like she's there's a whole nother world out there, and then going out. So that part would take at least half the movie already. So there's no time to really set up a satisfying villain for our main characters to go up against. In Captain America, it was the same. They just had some throwaway kind of villain, which is like Hugo Weaving, which he still had a great present, but the villain itself just kind of like a quick cut. It's like a villain in one of the side episode in an anime series or something like that. And here it's the same. It's just like the villain just shows up in the end. It's like, oh, I'm the bad guy, fight me, and that's pretty much it. I mean, despite them building him up, talking about him constantly throughout the movie, you don't actually see any of the their perspective, whereas in other good movies where they had good villains, you see kind of different scenes with the villain itself. Like in the Joker for the Dark Knight, you see many scenes of him like showing his motivation and his method of thinking and basically his coolness. And in some of the great Marvel movies, the same. You start to see like you always have scenes with the villain just talking, speaking, and just planning, just showing you like what kind of person they are, why they're so evil, what's their motivation. Whereas in this, everything is done within like 3 seconds for everything, except for the story kind of build up and set up for Wonder Woman herself. Okay, so for those reasons, why I kind of didn't think this movie was an 8 or 9, definitely maybe a 7.5 maximum. Which I'm not disappointed. I thought it's still a good movie. But, I mean, with a bit of tweaks, or maybe a new scriptwriter, it could have been like, a 10, a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. The potential is there, which seems to be quite a lot of a trend with these recent movies. Well, not recent, maybe in the past 3 or 4 years. The script and the plot seems to always be the main problem. I mean, the action scene and everything is kind of great these days. Lots of, especially DC movie. I'm not sure if it's Zack Snyder doing all the action scenes now, because since Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman and this movie, they've got the action like down. It's the action scene in the DC movie, I kind of go back and watch again and again. But in the Marvel movies, I don't recall actually, thinking of like, okay, when this come out on DVD or when this gets uploaded to YouTube, I'm gonna come and like watch it again and again just to see that action movie. Like the Batman action scene, I watched it so many times. It's like, wow, it's so well done, But again, like in Batman v Superman, in this movie, that's similar in the way that the second to last action scene is better than the final action scene, where the second to last action scene is kind of more down to earth. A bit of CGI here and there, but mainly it's kind of just kung fu martial arts, fighting with swords and shields and just doing all these choreographed moves. Whereas the final scene with the big boss, kind of like Doomsday fight, it's just fake laser, fake lens flare, and just people flying everywhere. It's like a cartoon by then. It just doesn't look as good. But yeah, okay, well, that's just my thought. Just wondering if anyone has the same kind of thinking, and just wondering why. Well, I mean, it's a good movie, but it's not like top of the line A plus or A type movie, and just I can't be the only one, right? And also the thought that it's copying kind of, well, I'm not sure if it's perfectly copying Captain America, but it's very, very, very similar. Okay, well, I mean, that's all I got to get off my chest, and feeling much better now.